Hello, guys. This is the Legendary Ladies podcast, and we are talking about heated rivalry. We do have Morgan missing in action this week, but by next week, hopefully, we have some cool episodes that we're covering. So we'll get Morgan back. But I wanted to cover this because we're known for doing queer content, and this has been a hot show. Like a lot of people are like, it came out of nowhere. I would say like the 2 weeks before it aired, they're like, there's a new show and it's like a Canadian show. You guys should go check it out. I'm like, okay. And then like on HBO Max,
it's Canadian?
It's a Canadian. It's the people who the creator of Letterkenny does this show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so it's based on a book and it is a steamy boy love sports show. And I didn't really have any context besides it was a queer sports show and I love sports TV. And I don't feel like there is enough shows like this, that it has this representation that is as steamy as it is. Because it's not like a Heartstopper. And I don't know if you saw Heartstopper, which is a little bit more cutesy. It's like a webtoon type show.
Did you end up watching Fellow Travelers?
No, I didn't.
This is a
I know
Fellow
you guys
Travelers vibe.
Watched that.
Yep.
I could see that.
But no.
Which had a sci-fi though, that show.
No.
Wasn't it? What are they traveling to then?
They're not traveling anywhere. That's hilarious. No, they don't travel anywhere.
That's so funny.
It's about traveling through life. Because Jonathan Bailey he's either dancing through life, traveling through life.
That's so funny.
No, they're fellow travelers through the world of life. Like at some point they bring it up. It's like a part of a line, the River of Life or something.
I saw it was a period piece, and I'm like, yeah, of course they're traveling through time.
It exists into time periods. One is the McCarthy 50s communism time. The other is I think it's the 80s, the HIV/AIDS epidemic in San Francisco area.
Interesting.
So it takes place at two different periods.
But you could see why I would thought it was a time travel show on from the outside looking fellow travelers, and they take place in two different time periods. I did not see it.
That's two reasons right away. Anyway, it has the same sort of steamy male pleasure queer aspect that but this is different. They're both different, but it had the same sort of general vibe. So
was that based on a book or was it?
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
This is based on a book. So
can I say that's one of the reasons I'm just jumping right in. That is one of the reasons I liked it so much. I didn't know it was based off a book, but 100% that explains everything. It feels like a sexy gay queer smut novel.
Very smutty, yeah. But which is interesting.
I love it.
I like it because I think if you had 20 of these, it'd be like, oh, I've seen this before, like whatever. But because in this medium, I've never seen something like this unless it was like a fan fiction. So I think it's cool that it's a fan fiction come to life.
Yes, we're just gonna hop right in.
Right. Well, also maybe we should explain what the show is, just in case people.
Okay. Yes. Seen it. We'll pause my thrilly smutty conversationalism. Before we get to talking about the show, just a friendly reminder that we are on Patreon. You can find us the Legendary Ladies patreon.com/thelegendaryladies. You can find us on all of your major streaming sites. You can find us on Instagram at The Legendary Ladies. Find us on YouTube. If you're a patron, you can actually watch these episodes live. And if you're a patron, next week we're recording more than one episode, so you could see all of those episodes well in advance. So again, you can find us online. We also love feedback. We often get emails from fans, and those emails may influence which episodes we do, like Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, you guys did Yellow Jackets. Yeah.
And you guys can find us, just email us, thelegendaryladies@gmail.com. But yes, Kat, tell us, what is Heated Rivalry about?
It is about these two guys who are on a hockey team, or separate hockey teams, like professional hockey teams. They're very important. And one's Russian, the other one is Canadian from Montreal. and they are rivals. But along the way, they very quickly find out that they like each other. And one seems pretty experienced. He's been, tiptoeing around his queerness, but he's been with other hockey players. And then I want to say POV character does feel like the Canadian character a little bit more.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's written from his perspective.
Yeah. And he is someone who's just kind of probably knows he's queer, but this is his first experience diving into it. And along the way, it is about them trying to be better hockey players. I will say all the positives we were talking, the first initial reaction, all the positives we were talking about representation, I think is really done well here. The smuttiness aspect is done here. My one complaint, because as I was giving the plot description, is that them as individuals need to be fleshed out a little bit more than what they are.
No, it's interesting you say that, because I actually thought the first episode got just enough of the hints. And we were actually talking about this before the podcast. I tend to look a little bit, my brain just starts to see stories a little bit faster. So I started picking up on all those little clues about, okay, so he's clearly having problems with his family. His dad probably has dementia of some sort. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I'll say
he's got
I
some
didn't,
sort of memory problem,
but yeah,
like a dementia
yeah.
thing. And so the Russian guy's dealing with all these family issues, and then God, why can I not remember their names?
Let me get their names,
thank you. Because it's the last names. That's the problem.
Yeah. It is Shane, and I cannot pronounce the Russian's guy name. Ilya.
That's right. There's Ilya
Razanov.
Oh, Ilya Razanov and Shane
Hollander. That one was
Hollander.
That one, like, I feel like they mentioned his last name a lot, but I mean, they probably mentioned the other guy too. But
Hollander and
Razanov.
Hollander, Razanov. I'm gonna get that. Look, I was distracted. Okay, there are a lot of things to be distracted about,
and very quickly too.
Yeah, but I actually enjoyed that aspect. I liked the fact that it was just enough suggestion of getting to know the characters. I actually immediately went and started watching episode 2. Went right into it.
I purposely, because I really did want to watch episode 2, and it's one of those pilot pods that were like, oh yeah, we want to watch episode 2. But I purposely didn't watch episode 2.
I couldn't wait.
Because every single time we do these pilot pods, I watch so many more episodes after if I'm interested in the show, and I always get confused of like what happened in the pilot. And I knew we were recording it so soon. Like I watched it maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was like, there's like 2 more episodes out after this. I could watch them back to back. I was just like, I really, for once, don't want to know what happened in the next episode, so I don't confuse what happens on the pilot.
No, I kept going. And you already learned a lot more about the characters.
Which I know in the next episode too, and it seems like in general, they do a lot of time skips. So I think this one would have been a little easier anyways to go into the next episode, because the show is very fast. It goes to the next.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that there's, and I kind of would like to get your take on this. I'm trying to figure out why I liked the pacing of this episode so much. Because it's very, and maybe it's because it's a little bit like a hockey game. It's snappy, and then the whole first sexual encounter scene was
slower,
very long.
Yeah, long, but slower than you would think.
It's slowed down. Like it literally, it like lowers your heart rate while bringing your heart rate up, and then it picks back up again. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if I can describe it other than just the pacing was refreshing. There are so many pilots where it just goes and goes and goes and goes, or it drags.
No,
there was
didn't drag.
No, it didn't. But there was something
really
nice about
easy to watch. Honestly, it was very easy to watch.
It was very smut novel readable, is what it was.
Right.
That's why right away I was like, "This is a smut novel." Now, the other thing I think I really like, and I'm going to be really honest, is I love a good slow burn romance. I love a Bridgerton season 2 where it takes all 10 episodes for them to finally kiss. Oh no, I think they kiss by episode 8. Whatever. There is something to be said about the fact that I looked down at the timetable. I'm like, oh, we're only 30 minutes in and we're already doing this. And I liked it. I liked the fact that they got right into it, because honestly, I feel like that represents a level of real life that we don't always get in films and movies. People love to dig into the love at first sight idea, but there's something to be said about lust at first sight,
Well, especially
where they let the
between
lust happen, but between two men.
two men, exactly. That's what I was gonna
Yes.
say. Is
To
that
have
feels
like,
really realistic.
yes, like let the lust out first and then get to know each other. And it, the conversations that they have span over the course of, I think, 2 years within the first one. Like, there's a lot of time that passes, but they flip through those times really quickly, and then they have their encounter, and then they don't hear from each other for several months. There's just something about that that's so, like, honest and realistic, and I really liked that. I really liked the way that pacing mirrored real life. I thought it was phenomenal pacing.
No, I agree. Again, my only nitpick is that throughout the pacing, I just wish there was an anchor character outside of them. That way I could figure out who they were as individuals. But I also know the show, and I think the reason why you really enjoy it, and I do enjoy it too, is because it is a novel, right? The pacing is a novel more than a TV show, which makes me lean towards, was it right to be a TV show or should have been a movie? I don't know, because that's how the pacing kind of feels like is more of a movie. But then I know there's obviously 6 episodes of content, so there's going to be a lot to explore. But yeah, my biggest nitpick is I just want to know them as individuals, because then I find their romance to be more interesting. Which again, I find their romance interesting because of the lack of representation. But if I had 20 other shows like this, I don't know if this would be my top show, because I think another show would make these characters feel a little bit more in depth. Now, you also watched episode 2. That might have helped. I've only seen the pilot, again, purposely. So I wanted more from like the parents. I wanted more from like that friend that invites them over, like something just to get who they are outside this relationship. But again, I know what they're trying to do, and it's very different than other shows. Is like, let's just see this relationship. Let's see an authentic queer male relationship. At least, obviously everyone has different experiences, but this is an experience that's known in the queer male space for sure. So I like that. And I think the two actors have a lot of chemistry and are very easy to want to root for. Even the Russian guy, who is a little cold, like you're still kind of rooting for him because you understand where he's coming from. He's not that cold,
Yes, it's interesting that you say that you wish there were other characters to help you understand these characters.
Yeah,
I find that a really interesting perspective because I didn't even consider that as a factor. Like, when I was looking at these characters, if you're saying, oh, I wish I got to know these characters better, I would not have immediately been like, we need an outside person looking in. I read it from a novel point of view.
Yeah,
I
which
read
focuses usually on 2 characters.
Almost from a theater point of view, where if you have the main characters on stage, you don't often get other perspectives. You just get the perspectives of those main characters. And I enjoyed getting to know these 2 characters through the little things that they threw in, like their little stupid bicycle race, the way that they were sitting right after that, the body language. I also liked the general calm of the music selections, how it didn't go over the top, how it let it speak for itself, how the show asked for trust from viewers in that it did things without telling you things. You didn't have to hear them say, and the winner of the first draft pick was this. They allowed that to come out over the way that the 2 characters talked to each other. Like, I like that there seemed to be a level of trust that the creators and the writers and the actors put into it. But I also think the camera work aided with that as well. I thought it was really well put together. Like, directorially, it was very clear that this was a very thoughtfully approached and presented episode.
Well, especially with the romance and the smuttiness, I think they did a really good job with camera angles and just like the cinematography. I definitely agree. I guess my question outside of the romance, first, the supporting characters, we'll see where those end up going. I think for me, again, I wish you saw Heartstoppers, because it's like almost a complete opposite show, where it's like it is a very slow burn show. It's a little bit about sports. One of them's a jock and one of them's like, artsy kid. But it's very much about their ensemble. It's about their parents. It's about their friends. And I love ensembles. I really enjoy like supporting characters. I really that I feel like a supporting character makes a main character better. So that
Do
felt a little
you
bit.
do you like Bach from Wicked? Is Bach important to you?
No, no, not so much in Wicked. It's interesting because in Wicked, because it's a musical, I don't know if I really like am focusing on the characters in general. I think I'm focusing more on like, here's the dances, here's the music.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's
you're
funny because
focusing.
that's in and of itself is ensemble.
Yeah. No, yeah, and obviously
That's
there
right.
is.
So ironic.
Yeah, no, yeah, because obviously it's a musical too, so you have the quote unquote literal ensemble in your in theater in general. But yeah, and Wicked, that's not one for some reason I need it, but because it is a musical, has another element to explain feelings. I think for something like this that doesn't have that element to explain feelings, but like you said, I like it doesn't handhold its audience either. Like it makes us kind of figure out what they want. But I want to know what they want as like hockey players. I guess I want them like outside of the queerness. Like who are they?
See, what's interesting is that I think the story
doesn't care about that.
No, the story intentionally chooses not to tell the hockey side of things, because I think part of the main crux of these two characters, and you can gather this from the first episode, is that hockey is their way of life, but I wonder if hockey is what they would have chosen for themselves.
I could see that, because obviously
how both of them were pushed into it by Ilya's dad clearly like pushed him into it for the good of Mother Russia. You will make Russia famous. The Hollander's mom talks at some point right off the bat about promotions and how it's important to have an Asian face as the face of this. So both of them are being forced to do, not forced to do hockey, but for them, hockey is a means to an end, the end being whether it's their parents' approval or financial. And if it was an only hockey show, say you got to see all the hockey competitions, all
it's not Ted Lasso.
Yeah. If it was all about the hockey, you would never get to know the boys. But in this case, it's the boys' story where hockey's a part of their life, but it's not the main part of their life. And I'm actually, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking it is actually quite brilliant that we've never seen them actually play hockey against each other. They don't.
But is that true? Because like if you watch other sport, like unless I don't know if you saw Ted Lasso, but Ted Lasso I think is a good example of a show that is about soccer, right? It's about soccer, but it's really or football. But it's really not just about soccer. It's about Ted Lasso's mental health. It's about these teammates becoming real people and caring for each other, becoming this like found family and seeing characters grow. Because I love sports dramas. It's just something I've always really enjoyed. And the reason I like sports dramas is because it tells a character story that you could tell through a sport, right? The thing that's interesting about a baseball, let's say, movie is not to play baseball. You can watch any baseball game and you say, okay, do they win or lose? But what's interesting about sports in general is the drama you create within it. And then same thing for a sports movie. It's the people, it's the characters you create. Because is baseball an interesting sport? Maybe, sure, but what's interesting is Derek Jeter. It's those characters that you play up. And then same thing in a sports movie is like, how does that evolve a character? So that's why I was surprised in this show they didn't utilize hockey to tell a character piece. But I understand your point of view is like, because both these characters were pushed into it's a little harder to tell that. But then also you still are selling this as a hockey show.
It's not so much that it's that it's harder to sell. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it has to do with the intentional choice to decide that it may be that their life revolves around hockey, but the story isn't going to.
But let's say if it's not hockey, who are they as people? I guess
maybe that's the question. That's the question that they're trying to solve. Without hockey, what are these two boys? how are they to each other? Are they I mean, Elia is I think it's in the first episode
Let
where
me tell you.
he's clearly bisexual.
Yes, that's in
Yeah.
with the girlfriend
And so
person he's seeing.
yeah, and they're discovering, okay, are they competitive? Are they competitive because they have to? Are they just talented? And because they're talented, this is the career that they chose or that they were asked to choose.
How are they two different though? Are they different? If
Are
that's
these two
their
characters different? Well, maybe that's the story that's going to come about. Maybe
mm-hmm.
that's the point, is that they seem very different. They seem like two very different worlds, but they in fact are very similar in the fact that each of them has someone else that they're doing this for.
But see,
Like maybe they've lost the joy of hockey.
I don't know if they are two different worlds though, and I think that's my issue. Besides that, he's from Russia,
Yeah,
and other than that, they both seem like they have similar problems and are similar
I
type of
agree.
characters.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think they've both been not forced, but they were just a product of a circumstance. They had a talent, and that talent is now being utilized. And I bet you they're going to lose the joy of hockey,
Sure.
and they're only going to find the joy of hockey, or they're only going to find the joy of hockey with each other there. Um,
Be
and
happy that they found each
yeah.
other.
But I think there is a suggestion from the first episode that maybe Elia's family has some pretty significant, like, financial issues,
Mm-hmm.
drug issues, whereas I think Hollander's family is probably super well off.
Sure.
Um, and so even like there's that entire guise of, okay, well, this is what you see from the outside, but what is your family really like on the inside? So that, to me, I thought it was just enough for me to be like, okay, I want to see where they go. I want to see where this is going for these two characters. So I literally immediately was like, yep, episode 2, here we go.
And it is interesting because like I did feel the same way in the regard of I wanted to see more, but in a different way, because I think I was like hunting to see like who are these people, and with each other and without, but obviously with each other more because of the what the show is like. It's a not a rom com, but it's a rom, So, but
It's
yeah,
a smut novel. It's a smut novel.
yeah, smut novel on
Yeah.
television. It's only 6 episodes, so like
Oh, I
making
didn't
it
know
very
that. That's
short.
actually
Yeah,
nice.
it's only 6. It reads like it's going to be a mini series. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's also like I said, a pretty. If you look on HBO Max, it's pretty popular. It's I think it was the number 1 or 2 trending, which is pretty
So,
cool for.
sorry, continue your thought and then.
No, I was gonna say it's pretty cool for a show like this to be doing so well. I'm actually gonna check now. That was at least when I saw it a few days ago. So they usually rank. Yeah, the only one that's on the top above that is Welcome to Derry, which makes sense because that's a very large, which is
Fan base.
franchise. So it's a big franchise. So this is the second one after, and then Mad Men is number 3.
What's interesting is I had never heard of this until you asked me to, but I'm so glad that I did. And I think this is like how word of mouth goes.
Right.
It's how Fellow Travelers did so well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because I've talked to you and Morgan. We've talked about this. I've talked about it on the podcast. I talk about it with my friends. Like, I love reading smut novels. Sometimes the more graphic they are, the more entertaining it is. And it's such an interesting conversation to have when I sit here and I go, the smut part, the sexual experiences that they had in these episodes were actually incredibly well done.
No, they
The idea,
really were.
really beautifully shot, really well written, really realistic.
Because they don't show anything either, because I'm guessing of their rating. But that I thought was really interesting how you could have that without showing anything.
Oh, yes. The rating was great. I would be like from an actress perspective, I would be interested to learn about their intimacy coordinator on set. I would be interested to learn about what these actors have done beforehand.
I think they're relatively new actors too. Like, I don't think they. I feel that guy plays what's Hollander. I'm pretty sure this is like his first show. I'm gonna look it up, but I was looking him up because I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen him from somewhere, and then I was like, oh, I definitely haven't because he. I think this is his first thing. I'm gonna look it up. So he has done. He was in he's not his first thing, but this is his first big role. It's like, here's a short film, here's a 1 episode thing that he was on Tracker. So it seems like this is like his big first starring
Big
role,
break.
which is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I thought it was really tastefully done. I also liked, as a straight woman, I liked the way that it gave me the opportunity to it answered questions that I almost immediately had.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be things where you're like, how does that work? Like, I don't, I read a lot of straight smut. Like, I don't read a lot of queer smut fiction. And there are going to be things where I'm like, I don't actually always understand this. And maybe that's ignorance. Maybe that's the way I was raised. Maybe that's just the media I consume. But I thought it was very tastefully done, the way that they just put in enough dialogue or enough um, movement with the way that they choreograph the
Yeah.
scenes, that it makes it easy for you, the viewer, to really get into it and to really understand it and to make it flow seamlessly and be entertaining. But a good smut novel, half the reason that smut novels are so entertaining is because you're completely surrounded in not only these sexual experiences that you're reading on the page or seeing on screen, but you're really invested in these characters.
Which
And the
happens
way
right
that,
away
which
here.
happens right away,
Yeah.
and the way that this story, they didn't go, quote, all the way right away, really leaves you as the viewer wanting something because the characters want it and you want it and everybody wants to see this happen. And it leads to a really effective, well done scenario that I think is also very reminiscent of real life. And I really liked that. I thought that it was just incredibly tastefully well done, and I would love to hear what viewers think of it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that I wonder what also the audience is for this, because like I said, because more I feel like it feels like a fan fiction, and not
It
a
does. No,
rude
it does.
way.
No, I know,
Yeah,
but I know exactly what you mean. It
yeah,
it's, it feels
feels like characters that you were begging to get together. Like, let's pretend that they
yes,
did, right? Yeah,
yes, very much so.
which is
It's
great to
like
see. Yeah.
yes, it's exactly like they took Harry and Ron, or not Harry and Ron. No, it's like they took Harry and Draco, and you really wanted to see them together. And there's a lot of that fan fiction online. I gotta tell you. But
And it's like answers the what if. Yeah. And that's
yeah,
what I really liked about this. Cause
yeah,
like for years, decades, people are yearning the supernatural, the, couple or Sherlock
yes.
or whatever. And this says, how about if we did it? And I like that. My question was going to be, I wonder who's besides obviously gay men, because gay men are gonna love it. But I wonder who is the audience for this. Age range too, because like the way it's filmed, it doesn't go far, but it goes
Um,
pretty far. So
it's
I'm
mature.
curious.
It's for a mature audience. I don't know if I could answer that. I
Hmm.
think the age range, or I think
Or
the
the demographic, not
audience.
even age range. What
Yeah,
is it like? A lot of straight women? Is a lot of queer women? Or is this show successful because it can hit a lot of different audiences,
I think
like
that's
queer
the answer.
men and straight women, or even queer women? And it's always interesting because I'm bi, so it's like I'm always like have the big question mark of like, well, I like both or everything. So it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like I literally can't answer those questions half the time. So I'm just like I don't
There's
know.
there's a level of curiosity
Mm,
that comes from seeing something, or, being shown something that is you don't maybe regularly deal with or regularly understand. Um I mean, the whole crux of what makes certain theater productions good and certain movies good is when you sit there and you have this kind of sense of wonder and you go, oh, I didn't think about that, or oh, I never thought about that, or oh, I've never seen that before. And it's not to say that, we need to that you have to oversaturate with yourself with all of these experiences. It's meant to just maybe make you, who might be curious, a little bit more curious, or maybe a little bit more satisfied, or maybe you just start to look at something that you've never thought about before and you go, huh, well, that's kind of interesting. You
yeah,
bite
and
your
I
lip and you wonder, okay, where do I go from here?
no, and I do find that that's why BL is so successful, because I think straight women, and obviously like straight women in general, and as a bisexual woman, you don't get a lot of male sexy representation in general, just because of the male gaze. So obviously also gay men don't get a lot of that either. So that's really interesting. So I think you already have straight women be like, I'm yearning for, sexy men. And this works, and then for obviously gay men, you just don't get a lot of that representation in general. And I definitely know there's like a queer woman side of people who really like BL too. Again, as someone who is bi, that's the big question. Like, I can't answer that as like someone who only likes women. I can't answer that question, but that's something I'm really interested in. But like you said, it's maybe what you just mentioned. But the straight woman thing, I think it's because like you're also seeing men. But also, I guess you maybe like if you saw sapphic girls, maybe you're like same thing. It's like, oh, it's different.
Question, wonder, curiosity.
Yeah.
And I mean, good media should make you curious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's ever a point where I've looked at a film that I've loved or a book or a theater that I've loved and said, and if I look back at it, there's always going to be something that I am curious about. It could be something as simple as the plot. I am curious to see where this goes. But if I were to start to look at shows and productions that I don't like, it's when you lose that level of curiosity where you go, yeah, I saw that coming. Yeah, but nothing new. If there's
or
nothing
the characters are boring.
Or even not boring, but even if there's nothing that makes you go, huh. Mm-hmm. Like, there should always be something that makes you go, huh. And if there isn't something there, then I think that media has fundamentally failed to connect with an audience. It's all about finding curiosity. But I think there's also something to be said, and this gets into a bit of an interesting conversation because I don't know if I'm able to be the right person to talk about this. But I would pose to you that these two male characters came off as very male presenting.
Yeah, masculine. Definitely the masculine side.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Fellow Travelers was a little bit different. Jonathan Bailey's character was very easy to understand as a queer character right off the bat. He just presents very quickly as a little bit of a mousy, not necessarily feminine presenting character, but it seemed to quote fit. And that doesn't mean that this doesn't fit, but it's a different way that the story's being told.
You can also, because I have a lot of gay men in my life, but you can tell this is written.
And I'm queer. To speak on this. Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, the number of anthologies that you've done where you get to read stories like this and speak with individuals like this, I don't have that opportunity in most of my daily life. So go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that hearing from specifically gay men, almost every gay man that I've talked to that had been in the dating pool especially have said that there's a lot of toxic masculinity within the gay dating scene of like, you have to be muscular, or you have to be, if you're a twink, you got to be this type of twink and stuff like that, where I feel like that's interesting to see, is this hyper masculinity that maybe gay men are feeling sometimes. And again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong or whatever. But I'm not a gay man to explain that, but I just know that hyper masculinity is a very big theme and topic within the community, which is interesting to see. Again, queer voices in obviously write this show, because you could tell that it's written from that perspective.
Yeah. I was very impressed with it. There was a lot to be impressed about. I would have a hard time finding something that I would want them to do differently in this pilot. I think it did exactly what it needed to do. It had the hook. It had the characters. The only thing is that I will say, we're nitpicking. Elia's character, for the first few scenes, his accent was actually so thick. I was having trouble understanding.
He's not. I looked up interviews, but I was just curious, like what they were like outside this. He's not Russian. So
he does a very good job. Unfortunately, it's a little too thick. I wonder if it's one of those things where they were like, buddy. You got to tone it down a bit. Or maybe he had just shot for all we know, he shot that first scene 20 minutes after he just finished a scene with his dad, who had a really thick accent, and he's just really deep into Russian. Speak very tight. Very, very good Russian. You speak much Russian, Hollander. I was like captions.
I think it took me like a 5 minutes to get used to it because
Yes,
I didn't know much about the shows. I didn't know he
me
was
neither.
Russian, so I was
I
just
didn't
like,
know he was
oh.
going to be a main character. I was like, because I thought he was just this guy smoking on the side. And he was going to be like, yo, do you know where the entrance is? And the guy's like, it's around the back. Go. Like, I didn't know.
No, it's super interesting. But yeah, I think one thing I'll mention too is that I think why this pilot's so interesting is that I think that the story has existed in other mediums, just not this one. And I think that's what's really cool about it is that television finally has this opportunity to tell this really, really extreme queer story that again I have never seen on this level. It's just a very
Mm-hmm.
different queer story. Again, we've
Yeah.
had BL stories, we've had Heartstoppers and stuff like that, but in this level, in this genre, in this smuttiness, I've never seen it. So I thought that was really cool and why this show is very much worth watching. It's just such a unique show, and I'm glad you watched it. It's a shame that Morgan can go on because I think she would have enjoyed it too. But
I
yeah,
think Morgan would have loved this.
I think so too. We have to
I
recommend it
want
to
to know.
her. Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to recommend it for sure. But
I'm probably going to watch all of it. Let's be honest.
I think I will too. I wonder if I'm going to watch it episode by episode or binge it. I have a feeling I
No,
might binge it. Mm,
well, there's 3 episodes out. You can binge the next 2.
that's true, but I also like will I watch it all the way to the end. You asked the question
Yeah.
in our private chat. What is BL? BL just means boy love, so that's like a genre on its own.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I love that.
GL means girl love. So like men like men genre is a lot of times called BL because it's
Oh,
boy love.
today I learned. See? Curiosity.
I've learned that just through obviously we write a GL, so you learn what BL is, and then we write a
Mm,
boy love book actually too. So this was like cool because we write on webtoons, so it's not you can't be as smutty as this, but on webtoon, what's
nonsense.
interesting is that is Patreon is where you could do the smuttiness. So we do like a smutty scene
Yeah,
every
I've seen those.
month, so that's kind of fun to do. But
Not like
yeah,
your
and
smutty scenes. But
no,
I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
could
yeah.
look at your smutty
You
scenes, but like
could if you
I've
want.
I have
That's how
people I
Patreon
follow on
does it.
Instagram
Yeah.
whose Patreon is
No.
smutty. Anyway, continue.
No, I was gonna say that I think this is worth watching, and I
Mm-hmm.
recommend it, and I think give it a shot. Oh, going back to the binging, that's what we were talking
Mm.
about. I'll see. I'm really curious to see if I watch episode by episode, but by the end, it really is one of those shows that is easy to say I will watch it all, and a
Yeah.
lot. It's funny because a lot of the pilot pods we do, it's usually one man out and be like, I don't want to watch it, but like
Yeah.
to have all of us, and again, I'm sure
It's
Morgan,
actually rare. I
it's
know
rare. Yeah,
Morgan would watch it, but
yeah.
there's something refreshing about this pilot.
And I think
I
there's a little
think
bit for everybody because if you obviously just
yes.
like romances, a lot of people love romances, but like or sports stories, which is just fun in general too. So
Or if you want the character drama, or if
mhm.
you want something that,
You want
for lack of a
Canadian
better word,
representation.
there you go. It's almost, even though it spans a long period of time, the pacing is so well done that it's mellow's not the right word, calm not the right word, slow is not the right word. But in my brain, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a little bit of a quieter show.
Mhm.
It's not a show that throws things at your face. It's not like shortly after this, I'm going to go watch Spartacus. That is not a quiet show. But this show is a put on your headphones, go in your room, watch it on your own kind of a show. I don't know. It just strikes me as a show that it's one of those shows that in that moment it's just for you. Like maybe if I had a partner, I'd be watching it with a partner. I don't know. Maybe that's one of the things where it's meant to be like the novel is just for you. It's just in your
Mhm.
head. It's just the story right there for you in your head. And maybe that story, this kind of a script, the way that it's written, the way that the story happens, maybe it's something that's just for you in that moment. And that's why I like it so much. It's just a way to quiet everything else and just watch the story that's happened without any excessive pizzazz.
Yeah. And I'm guessing the budget's probably pretty cheap too, because it is just
It's
a lot
very
of
well done.
talking. Yeah, it's good. So that's a recommendation from us. Next up, we are gonna definitely cover Spartacus, and we're gonna try covering Wicked. So those are our two next up, and then we're gonna have a Christmas break. So
And I will clarify for those of you who are interested, we went back
yes.
and forth. We are going to watch the first episode of Spartacus, The House of Asher, which is the one that is just now coming out December 5th on Stars. The first 2 episodes are out. I think we'll discuss if we're going to watch all the first two. It will probably be based on how the first one is. If it's clearly ends on a cliffhanger, we'll probably watch both of them.
Sure.
But not the original one. Not the one from like 2010, 11, 13. Not that one. Don't get confused. There's so much Spartacus online. You want Spartacus, the House of Asher. If it doesn't have Lucy Lawless in a bloody blue dress within the first 5 minutes, you're watching the wrong series.
Now, for people that don't have Stars, is there an easy way to watch it, or you just have to watch through Stars?
No, it's Stars, but Stars has some pretty good deals on right now for like I absolutely, it's like, do you want to watch Spartacus, the House of Asher for $2 for the first 6 months? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. And so I absolutely bought it that way. There's a lot of good deals right now. Yeah, I would just look around online and find it.
Well, cable too, because I have cable. I think it's on demand somewhere usually.
Yeah,
with the
but yes, House of Asher. And the reason we're doing that is because it's a quote spin-off, but it's not really a spin-off. It is a different time period, it is a different set of characters. The only character who's the same is the main character, Asher. Everybody else is new. So I want to see, is this an accessible series to new people? And Kat and Morgan have heard me talk about the original series, but I've never seen it.
Many times.
So that's what we're going to do. many times. Got me through got me through college. I was watching it actually, now that I think about it. I think Spartacus series ended maybe 1.5, 2 years after we started recording the Legends of Tomorrow podcast.
There you go.
Because it would have been like 2013. So it was like right when we met. Wait.
It's crazy.
Or before.
We started
time is a construct.
We started the Legends, I want to say like 2015, 2016.
So then it was I did meet you guys after this.
Yeah.
Never mind. You never got to know me in my Sparty era then.
No, but trust me.
Sparty ended in 2011. Hold on.
But trust me, you're always in your Spartacus era.
I am always in my Spartacus era. No, it was 2013 it ended. Yeah, anyway. I remember because it ended my my final year of college.
Wow.
Wait, it ended and Merlin ended and Flashpoint, a Canadian show that I love. They all ended within 2.5 weeks of each other.
You're like, what do I watch?
Truthfully, those 3 shows got me through college. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up. Kat, what do you have going on in the Kickstarter world?
Yeah, I have, speaking of boy love series, Moloch issue 1 is written by David Booher. We are publishing his book. It's the son of Satan gets kicked out of hell for being gay, and then we get to see him with a ragtag team of different characters. We also have Witches of Oz, so if you enjoy Wicked, go check that out. It's the 2 characters finally being together, and now in this issue they're in Kansas, so they're the fish out of water in Kansas, so go check that all out. And Amy actually helped figure out that plot, so Amy, I
do want to know what happened. I want to know what way we went.
You'll definitely be getting the issue because Amy and Morgan's name is going to be in the issue because they helped us kind of lead the way for that one. So go check out all that stuff and at Comic Uno for all the rest.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Amy_hip. That's Amy_HYP. Not in any theater productions right now. Thank goodness. I needed a break, but I love it. You can find me binging this series and Spartacus over the next few days.
It's the new shows that are getting you through life, not just college.
It's true. I'm also rewatching The West Wing and rewatching Star Trek The Next Generation, which, as it turns out, I actually had not seen all the way through until about a year ago, and now I'm rewatching them, and it's so good. I wish I could get you guys into Star Trek.
I know.
I realize it's never gonna happen.
No, it's a big thing to try getting into. It's like saying, hey, do you want to watch every Top Chef episode ever? 20-something seasons of it.
Yeah, it's a lot. But anywho, I think that's going to wrap us up. Remember, you can find us on Instagram at The Legendary Ladies. We're going to try doing a little bit more cross-posting on Instagram with videos and stuff. So please follow us, like, share, repost, all that jazz. Leave comments. We love interactions. We love hearing from listeners. Email us, thelegendaryladies@gmail.com. And remember, patreon.com/thelegendaryladies, We are the Legendary Ladies because we talk about legendary stories, but you can find Morgan online as well. She's at Mojo-tastic on Twitter and on Supergirl Radio. So I think that'll wrap us up. We hope you all had a wonderful week. We'll see you next week, and stay legendary.